In today's video, we are going to look at a game played between Alireza Firoza and Magnus Carlsen. This game was played in Sicilian Defense, Rosolimo attack, sorry, in the tournament Magnus Carlsen Invitational, and this happened in 2020. And in this video, the main thing is that we are going to study the middle game, and I will give you the option of the 3 or 4 best moves in a position, good moves in a position, out of which one would be the best one, and you will have to choose it. And in this way your learning will properly develop because you will be thinking with the game when you will be seeing this video. So let's continue with our game. E4, now c5 by black. Magnus Carlsen, Alireza Firoza was white in this game, and Magnus Carlsen was black. Knight f3, knight c6, and bishop to b5. And this is the start of Sicilian defense Rosolimo attack. Now e6, the standard move. Bishop into c6, b into c6, and now the move is d3. Because the point is that now you can play the move d3, and it is more positional instead of aggressive opening. So queen c7 over here and queen e2. The point of this queen e2 move is that now black can't play the move immediately d5, because when white takes, this pawn on e6 would be pinned to this queen. That is the reason black can't play the move d5 immediately. To stop this thing, white plays the move queen e2. Now e5 by black. The reason behind playing this e5 is that now it is controlling this square in depth, and it is also controlling this square f4 in white's territory. And in future, when the time would be right, black is going to play the move this d5 immediately. Knight bd2. The point of this developing this knight bd2 is that this knight is being developed over here. It has no proper square to go to. That's why you develop your knight over here, which was played in the game, knight bd2, because you are going to develop this knight over here on c4 and putting more pressure on this pawn on e5. Black plays the move knight e7. Now black also going to defend indirectly by playing the move knight e7, then g6, and protecting this pawn. White goes with this plan, knight c4, knight g6, h4. The point is that h4 move is that you are threatening this knight and saying that I'm going to play the move h5 and then I'm going to pick up this pawn. So black responses with move h5. Now g3 by white. The point of this move g3 is that now it is being protected. h4 pawn is being protected, and this rook is free to move anywhere. And the second point is that this g3 move now prevents this knight over here g6 to come over here on f4. d6 by black. Now these two both pawns are being protected properly, and here bishop d2. Okay, I want people to pause the video that what happens if white plays the move bishop to g5. What is the problem with this move bishop to g5, and why this move bishop d2 is better in this position? I hope you have judged. If you have not judged, please watch and learn. The problem with this move is that bishop g5, then black immediately plays the move f6. And black has the tempo on your bishop. When you move back, bishop to d2, now it's black's move. And black has a tempo. Now black would immediately play the move d5, challenging this center and challenging this pawn, this knight, and this whole center with tempo. That's why Alireza Firoza played the move bishop d2, or it is played in this situation bishop d2. Not give black the tempo of this move f6. So after bishop d2, now f6 by black himself, preventing bishop from coming over here. And also this knight jump over here on g5. So knight e3. This knight has done his job over here, as it was threatening this pawn over here. But now this pawn is being protected twice. So it was time to maneuver the knight over here. And now it is protecting this advance of this pawn. The reason behind bringing this knight over here is that now it stops the advance of this d5 pawn. Bishop e7. And I want people to again now middle game, and I'm going to give you the options and you have to choose one best move. Okay, one move is b3. The point of playing this b3 move is that you are not allowing this pawn to come over here, and then you may maneuver your bishop like this also. Or the reason behind this b3 move would be that you may tuck this bishop like this. Okay, I have given you the reason. First move b3. The second move is that you may castle over here, and then you move the knight out of the way over here or over here whatsoever, and you just play on the king side. So first move is d3, second move is castle, third move is knight g1, which was played in the game, and fourth good move is knight h2. The reason behind this knight h2 move is that now you are saying that I'm going to play the move f3 and then this g4 move. Okay, d3, castle, knight h2, knight g1. Which is the best move? I want you people to think. Knight g1 was played in the game. And what is the best move in this? And the best move in this position is actually the castle. Because now your king is safe. Now if black goes immediately by this a5 advance, now king b1 first. Now a4 by black, for example. Now knight e1. It is protecting this pawn, and you are going to march this pawn over here. You are also going to play this move g4. And if black threatens with rook b8, now bishop c1. Now this whole white side is being protected, and black can start an assault on this king side. The move which was played in the game, knight g1, it is also good. But the best move was castle. Magnus played with the move bishop to d8. Why bishop to d8? I want you people to pause the video and think that why Magnus Carlsen played bishop to d8. What was the reason behind playing this move bishop to d8? Because in the game you have to understand the reasons behind your opponent's move. That what was the reason that your opponent plays the move like that? So why bishop to d8? The point of this bishop to d8 move is that now if white goes for his plan knight h3 and saying I am going to play the move f4 in this position, for example, knight h4, now rook e8 first, after b3 protecting this pawn, now and you are going to bring your queen over here, you are going to march your pawn like this, and this bishop will be on this diagonal, and you are going to exchange this bishop. and you are going to start assault on the queen side because it is opened. That is why Magnus Carlsen played the move bishop d8. Okay, bishop d8 by Magnus Carlsen. Now it is by play, and I'm going to give you again the options. First is castle. The second one is b3. The third one is knight e3, and fourth one is queen f3. And all of these are good moves. And I want you people to pause and think that which move is the best out of them. Queen f3 was played in the game. This move, queen to f3, was played in the game. And the best move in this position is that both are the best. There are two good moves, both two best moves. One is castle, second is knight h3. Point same that you castle, bring your king over here. When being attacked by the rook, you play the move bishop e8. Now then you can move your knight h3 and start the assault on the king side. So the game f3 was played. Now knight f8 was played by Magnus Carlsen. And from over here, actually, we are already out of the theory. Knight f8. The reason behind playing this move knight f8 is that now this knight would be coming over here. It has done its job. Now it is eyeing for this square. Okay, knight e2 was played by white. The point of this knight e2 move is that instead of this h3 is that it has an option to move to c6. And the second thing is that now white can go for g4, bring his rook over here, and he can tuck his queen over here on g2 and then play the move f4. This is the whole point by playing the move after knight e2. Knight e6, black is going with his plan over here. Now queen g2, white is going with his plan. Now e5. Now it was time to march on the queen side. And white went out. First stop the pawn movement. Now knight d4. Taking this pawn over here, but it is being protected by the knight on e3. Now f4, bishop e6. B is by white. Now this square is being controlled wholly by white. And the reason behind taking this move bishop to d6 was that now black is going to play this move this way and on the queen side. Queen d7. The reason behind this queen d7 move is that now Magnus has prepared completely and his in the next move he is going to play the move d5. And in solution, I'm going to give you people options, and there are three moves in this position. One is f5, which was played in the game. The second one is bishop to c1, and your plan is that you are going to play the move c1 to b2, and in this way you are going to eye this diagonal. Okay, one f5, second one bishop c1, our third one is castle. And I want people to pause the video and think of all these three moves. That which one is better? Do you think? And the move which was played in the game was the best one. F5. The second move, which I said, bishop to c1, for example. Now, sorry, bishop to c1. My net is having some problem, I think. Yes, sorry. Bishop c1. Okay, my net is having problem. Okay, the thing was that bishop c1 and b2 was slow. Instead, f5 was better because now this bishop was threatened. So queen d7, f5, hitting the bishop. Now bishop goes back, bishop f7, and now knight c1. And again, I want you people to pause the video and think that why Firoza played this move at c1 in this, as these two already pawns is being protected by this pawn. Where is this knight going to move? The point is this in this. Where is this knight is going to move? Sorry, after f5, now bishop f7 and knight c1. The point of this move by Alireza Firoza is that he is avoiding any type of exchange on piece sacrifice on this pawn. The point of this move was that future piece sacrifice. So Magnus Carlsen went out for the move d5. Now Magnus Carlsen had achieved his desired position, and it was time to open up the center. And it was castle because it was the time to castle. Now c4 by Magnus Carlsen is challenging the pawn change, the whole pawn chain. So Alireza Firoza take pawn c4 by b. Now d into c4, d into c4, and you may see that white pawn structure has been shattered in this position. So bishop b6. The point is that whenever this knight moves out of the way, this knight of white would be pinned. To this thing. Rook b1 by Alireza Firoza. Instead, it was best for Alireza Firoza to immediately play the move king h2 over here. Because now, for example, rook d8, now putting more pressure that I am going to move this knight and this bishop will be threatened. Now you can play the move rook d1. And this was the better continuation for white. Instead, the move rook b1 by white, hitting this bishop immediately. But this rook b1 move gives tempo to the black because now queen a7. Now black has a battery on this knight. King h2, now by white. Now rook d8 by black. In this position, I am going to give you three moves. You have understood that rook d8 has been played in the game. But black had already second two moves also. That one was yes. The second one was knight b5. Three moves. And which one was better? And the one that rook d8 was played in the game was better because this you still have this move, and this castle immediately leads to this pawn to e4. So rook b2. The point of this rook b2 move was that now this pawn is being protected, due to which Alireza was unable to move his knight. And in the next sequence of the moves, he is just going to move his knight off the way. And the second plan which Alireza Firoza had in mind was that he is going to push this pawn e4 after this pawn is being protected. So castle by black. Now g4. going with the plan. As this pawn is being protected, now g4, knight e2 by Magnus Carlsen. And this was a mistake by Magnus Carlsen. And how able to think that how you can take advantage of this knight e2 move by Magnus Carlsen. Queen into e2, now rook into d2. After queen into rook, now bishop into e3. The point of this whole sequence is that now black has two bishops and white has four pieces, whereas black has also four pieces. But he has exchanged for the mobility of his pieces. This is the exchange sacrifice. If you see my last video, that how to are you ready to do changes? It is like that something. In that also, I also explained in that video that when to do exchanges, and it was the right time to do the exchange. But after here, Queen e2 was played, and this was a mistake by Alireza Firoza. Instead, the move was Queen g2. The point of this move is that now it is protecting these two pawns from over here. But before now, you can easily take this pawn, and these pawns are protected. But in the game, when he played the move Queen e2, now Queen d4. And now black is better because it is now threatening this rook over here and this pawn over here. And white has to protect this rook. So he protects it by playing the move knight d3, now queen into e4. And from over here, black is better because he's a pawn up. And this pawn over here is also going to fall. So rook e1 was played in the game. Now bishop f4 check. King has to move. Now queen into c4. And now black has given up the rook for two pawns and bishop, and his position is very better because this bishop is very well placed. Sorry. So g into h5, and now bishop h6. Now this bishop is protecting this whole king side, and this bishop also doing, and this queen is doing an attacking job. Oh, sorry, on this pawn and on this pawn. Rook e7 was played by Rosa in this position, and I'm going to give you an option that what is the best move for white in this position. One is queen g4. The second one, which was played in the game, rook b7. The third one, queen e4. And I want you people to choose from out of these moves. Rook b7 was played in the game. Now queen g4 and queen e4. Which one is best? People think. Or the fourth move is that rook eb1, doubling these rooks. And the best move in this position was queen g4. It was time to exchange the queens and putting pressure this way. And try to bring the knight like this. That's why this move was better. Queen g4. Because now if queen c3 threatening the rook over here, now you double the rook. Bishop c4 threatening the knight. Now queen f3. Now you are threatening the pawn. That's why it was better. So rook b7 was played in the game, and now queen into a4. And white has picked up his third pawn. Rook g1 by white. Brings pawn to the king, And seeing that I'm going to bring the knight like this way. So rook d8 was played by Magnus Carlsen. Rook g, the same reason. Queen might be coming over here, threatening this pawn in this way. Queen a1 by black. Here, in this position, Magnus Carlsen played the move Queen a1. I want to give you people the option that which move would be more better. Queen c4, Queen knight, or Queen d4. Taking control of this diagonal, Queen Queen c4 or Queen d4, or Queen a2, pinning this pawn to this queen. You have three options, right? Queen c4, Queen d4, and Queen a2. Which move is the best? And the point is that this move is the best. Queen c4. The reason is that after you play the move Queen c4, it has the option to play the move pawn forward, and then this your queen to a2 would not be in your way. This is the first reason. Now it pins the knight to this queen. Second thing, it directly hits this pawn over here. It hits the pawn, it pins the knight. Now it is supporting the pawn to advance, and it is doing another job. It is protecting this pawn c6. That's why this Queen c4 move was the best. But in the game, Queen a1 was played, and Knight f2 was played by Aliza Froza, and that was the blunder. I want you people to think of the way that why this was a blunder. Here, there's only one move. Actually, that's why I'm not giving you people the options. There is only one move that keeps the game equal for white. And the move is that Queen b2. Now it is putting pressure over here, and it is putting pressure on c, and it's controlling this diagonal. Okay, and this bishop can't come over here because now this rook check ends the game. That's why Queen g2 was better instead of knight over here. Knight f2. In the end, knight was played, and Magnus Carlsen also made a mistake because this was actually a rapid game, and there are many mistakes in the game. Magnus Carlsen also made the mistake, and he played the move rook d2. And this was actually the blunder of the game because after this move, Magnus Carlsen lost the game. Now I want you people to pause the video and think that how to play and win. It is completely winning position. Black would have to give up his queen to stop the mate, and this is a beautiful combination. You have to understand. You may see that I'm this move is the first one, the obvious one. You are going to give the check, but how you are going to continue with it? The point is that after that, how you are going to continue? I hope you have solved this combinational at the way to end the game. If you haven't, then look at it and learn. The point is that when rook check, better way for black is give away the bishop. But Magnus Carlsen went out for king h7. And the move you have to find was that queen g4. Because now this move ends the game. Why it ends the game? Because it is going to give the check, queen check, bishop take, pawn here take, and this back rank is being controlled by the rook, and black is just going to be mated, and black has to give up the queen, which happened in the game because queen f1 check, rook g2, queen into g2 check, king into g2, and this threat is still there. Even if you try to stop it, here Magnus Carlsen designed the game, but I'm going to show you that if you still try to stop it by playing the move bishop g5, h into g5, now after f into g5, queen into g5, and how now, for example, bishop d5 check, king g1, and you can come over here. The bishop has to go back. Bishop f7, now h6. After g into h6, now the move is queen f6, and you are threatening mate this way because this pawn is controlling these two squares, and it is just a mate in 3. Okay, black can just delay the mate. For example, rook d1, knight into rook, just delay the mate. So if you like my today's video, kindly like it, subscribe it, and hit the bell icon button. Thank you very much.